I'm going to do a little bit of a walkthrough on my Bonified xtr130 build. I wouldn't say I've completed it, but I got to leave for Alabama on a tournament, and this is as ready as it's going to be. So starting at the front, I've got the Bonified trolling motor bracket that I got when I bought it new at Raccoon Creek Outfitters. Got the xi3 12 volt. I put these Nylite ice cube lights. I put 4 of them on, 2 on the front and 2 in the back. I've got 10 of these little button black lights throughout the boat. Up here in my front hatch, I've got my livescope, I've got my circuit breaker, and this is a 8-channel RGB lighting controller, or just appliance controller, but it's ran off of that power head, and it's also Bluetooth capable, so everything on my boat I can run off of my phone. I'm running 2 of these 100 amp hour 12.8 volt Greener Power. They had some pretty good reviews. They're just cheap Amazon, but they're very small batteries. I got another one that's going to go in here, and I got industrial Velcro that holds these in here. They ain't going nowhere. So I got one to run my trolling motor and one to run all my other stuff. So I've got, I think this is a Brocraft. It's just a GoPro mount. I've got a EcoMap UHD 93 SV. And this is for my live scope and my side scan on my mapping. Over here I got a Helix 8, and that is for my Mega 360. I have got these Smackdown tall pipe rod holders. This is the first time I've used the pipe rod holders, but you cannot buy a better rod holder than these Smackdowns. They're so versatile. The multiple positions, you can run 3 rods out of 1 rod holder. So I can't remember if this was new. I can't remember if this is new canoe or Bonified. I can't remember. But it's a cup holder and accessory tray. I got the Yak Gadget seat bag. My buddy Chris Mooney from Mooney Welding 3D printed this, and it is a phone holder for my phone and some weights in there. I did a 1.5 inch raise on my seat with these billet aluminum spacers. Over here I have got, I believe these are Yak Attack, the size B 1.5 inch ball, and that is for my Humminbird Mega 360. And then I have this, it's just kind of a utility strap for UTVs. Kayak USA used them for his live scope, and they worked out pretty good. I thought they were a great idea. Back here I got my second UHD unit. So I made this board. It's very lightweight, but it's strong enough to hold my cooler, and it's Velcroed on. So I'll probably take that off when I'm traveling down the highway, but I can set my cooler up there, and I can pull the cooler forward and backwards, and it stores underneath my rod rack. So I fish all over the country for tournament catfish. I got the Mercury 4-stroke 6 horsepower outboard. It's brand new. I haven't tried it yet. And this custom bracket, I'm building these. I've played with a couple different designs, and this is by far the best one I've come up with. And this is all precision laser welded, and it is steel. I'm not going to mess with the aluminum. The aluminum's twice as thick and the same weight, and the steel is stronger. So that's just what I'm going with. And again, I'm using these. These are 2-inch billet aluminum spacers, so all of the pressure from this outboard is pushing on this plate, you know, as it's thrusting. And there's seven mounting points for that bracket for that motor to go on. I got another one of the Brocraft mounts, and then I got a small mount here for my GoPros. Walk around this new canoe. This is the unit I fished off of last year. So I've got the Fishing Specialties Live Scope Kayak Edition down rod pole. That thing works pretty amazing. I'm going to go over these rear rod holders that I built. So these rear rod holders, You can, I mean, they are so solid. You can shake the whole kayak. I can move the whole kayak off of this. It ain't going nowhere. You don't get the flex on the plastic like you do trying to rail mount them. So I've got a 2 1/4 inch rubber washer right here, and this is the insert hole. That's just a big fender washer from Farm and Home. And this is 5/8 DOM steel, same thing I make my rod racks out of. And this is just 1 inch flat iron. And then instead of bolts, I use these eyelets. Helps me, you know, hook tethers to and bungee cord stuff when I'm going down the highway. But yeah, these smackdown rod holders, I can't say enough. I've ran other brands. I've run all the brands. And you know, there's other companies out there that make a good rod holder, but none of them, I mean none of them, are as versatile as these smackdowns. It does not get any better than these smackdown rod holders. I ran 3 rods on my outside rod holders often, and man, they take every bit of abuse. I've got rod holders, I've got the smackdown rod holders on my boat. I've actually pulled my kids' tubing from those rod holders just to show how strong they are. But yeah, I wanted to do a quick video on my build. So I got a lot of work to do. I gotta get my trailer right. Right now I just put a piece of plywood on there with some carpet. Oh, the other thing that I'm running is this Yak Hobby transducer mount that goes in the scupper hole. So you can't run PVCs in the bunks. You can't really see it. I mean, you might be able to see it up in there, but it is perfect. Everybody I've talked to that is running that says they work just fine. So anyhow, we're heading to Alabama. If you need any tackle, Macy's Fishing Fine. Absolutely best place you can get tackle. For all your kayak needs. I drove all the way to Ohio to pick up this kayak from Raccoon Creek Outfitters because of their customer service, because Dustin is as good as it gets in the kayak world. I wanted to make sure I was supporting the guys that support us. And he's a great sponsor to the kayak trails that I fish. So I drove to Ohio just to help the guy and to give him some business. And I am very glad that I did. So anyhow, this is my xtr130 build.